This is Gabriel Gonzalez for Cage Side Press, and I'm here with one half of the fight for the women's vacant lightweight championship of Misfits Boxing, Nikki Kanga Hru, fighting Alexia Grace on March 23rd. Nikki, you know what? So many things. We're about 2 weeks out. Promotional debut for the title, big fight, on a poster. I mean, talk to me about your entire world right now. I have to imagine it's exciting.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's so exciting. I obviously Misfits is a huge promotion. I mean, even people who aren't necessarily fans of the influencer boxing scene know about it. So this is kind of unbelievable. And it's crazy because the last time we saw each other, we were talking about Alexia and we were talking about Astrid, and I was saying like she had a very impressive debut. I'm really excited to see what she's learned. I think this is actually going to be an entertaining fight. Um, or I'll just drop her in the first. Like that's really the only two options. But that's entertaining too, I guess.
No, absolutely. Who doesn't like a quick knockout? Am I right? Can we start from the beginning? Because obviously you were doing your thing
Of
on,
course.
the smaller scene. When do you get a call from Mams Taylor and the crew about being part of Misfits?
Yeah. So I broke away from my original promotion first. And I was kind of in this place where I was trying to figure out what the next step was, what promotion would be the best. And legitimately in my head, I did not think Misfits was even an option. I was like, I really thought they were going to be too big for where I was at, right? Like I was very much like, oh, I need to work my way up kind of mindset. Um, and from there, in the middle of trying to figure all this out, post leaving my old promotion, I get a call from Mams, and I was just like, well, he reached out and he asked, but like, I was just like, what is happening? And he was so kind and he was so sweet and he like brilliant businessman. We kind of talked through, I mean, exactly what he foresaw, what the plan was, like would I be interested? And I was like, would I be interested in this? Like, absolutely, I'm interested in Misfits. I was like, oh, I have to think about it. No, no, there was no thinking. I was like, absolutely, yes. Um, and he was great. He really was. And he originally was putting me on as the mandatory for Astrid, which got publicly announced. Like he said it in a space. Astrid knew, like it
I smell a
was
chicken.
talked about. I smell a duck. Um, but she knew I was the next fight. She knew that like they were propping it up for me to be who stepped forward. And then all of a sudden, she starts to duck away from the promotion and she refuses to say my name, knowing that I was her mandatory. But yeah, so she was all upset because I would have been her first like non-debut fight, right? So, and I think Alexia put up enough of a fight that now she's scared. And then obviously, I'm tougher than Alexia. Sorry, Alexia, but not sorry. Obviously, I'm tougher than Alexia. So I think she knew that she was going to get beaten really badly and she ducked out, which is such a disappointment. But not even for me. Just I can't imagine leaving the scene in that way. You know what I mean? At least be honest about it. Be like, hey guys, sorry, I'm not trying to have my face broken by Nikki. At least be honest. But anyway, that's my own grievances. Um, yeah, so we had to kind of figure out what the next steps were. And I mean, I think Alexia Grace deserves a second shot at the title. Um, mainly because having a title fight be your debut fight. That's insane. And to have it be on the prime card is even more insane. So then I think Alexia absolutely deserves another shot. Like having a title shot, your title fight be your debut is absolutely insane. And she stood up to the pressure. Now, did she do it with great technique? Not necessarily. I hope that that has improved. But she stood up to the pressure of being there, and she went the distance with Astrid, who had multiple fights under her belt already. Absolutely, I think Alexia is the smart person to have as the other contender for this belt.
A lot to unpack
Yeah.
there. I want to start. No, absolutely, I get it. A lot to unpack there. I want to start with to get it out of the way. With Astrid leaving, let's just say like it is. Obviously, she's built up a lot of that for the women. Now there's obviously a lot more. Is
Yeah.
there any part of like, you know what, at some point you got to take her out to kind of, for want of a better word, legitimize the title run? You know what I mean? Beat the girl who beat the other girls. Is there anything like that? Or, if I may be honest, I think that influencer boxing is a little different. Well, there would be a lot to gain from beating Astrid. If Nikki Hru goes on a great run of a bunch of other girls, big influencers, maybe other experienced girls, Astrid or not, it really doesn't matter. What are your feelings personally?
I would love to fight Astrid just for, honestly, at this point, just because I'm mad. Not to make it like, because I'm not usually someone who's like personal beef kind of person, but I felt really disrespected, and I felt very like I felt very slighted by how she handled a lot of it. Not to be super egocentric, right? Like, it is what it is. But I did. I felt very slighted, and I felt very snubbed in a way when she was saying why she was leaving. And I'm like she knows she being her mandatory. It's not like I was a random person. It's not like she didn't know who I was. She could have said my name, and she could have said, you know what, I'll fight Nikki on a different platform, anything. And the fact that she didn't, I'm just like, I see you. You know what I mean? That being said, I think I would feel a lot more pressure to fight her in order to legitimize if I thought she was actually any good. And since I don't, I'm just like, I would have beaten you anyway. You know what I mean? I'm like, I would honestly, I think Alexia will be a harder fight than Astrid would have been because Astrid didn't, and we talked, you and I talked about this. Astrid didn't improve. She learned how to throw a jab, and then that's all she did. And it's like she only does it okay. Whereas Alexia, well, depending on how this goes, like I'm not underestimating her. I think considering how she did in her debut, I really think the second fight, she'll actually have some technique. She'll actually know how to stand her ground. And I think we're going to see improvement, which we did not see in Astrid. So I'm like, this is the harder fight anyway. And if Astrid ever wants to come back and be like, I want my belt back, she is welcome to step into the ring with me. Absolutely welcome to anytime. But I don't feel like it delegitimizes anything for me not to fight her. I think the fact that she ducked is evidence enough. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Fair enough. I definitely get that mentality. I'd like to ask you about your new buddy, Alexia. I gotta say, y'all have this weird little. I mean, look, influencer boxing is a different game. Usually, I don't think fighters talk so friendly with opponents leading up to a fight. You're tagging her, she's
Yeah.
tagging you. You want her to buy lunch. She wants you to join that
Create
one
an
website.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
that's so funny.
I mean,
Um,
talk to me about this whole thing you guys have going on.
look, I think part of it's just because of who I am as a person. You know what I mean? Because you know me, I'm very much like a puppy where I'm like, everyone's my friend until you're not. It's like you're my friend until you give me a reason to bite. Until then, I'm just like, la, 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 la. So I think part of that is my doing. Um, I also just I don't need to create problems between us in order for me to feel confident that I'm going to knock her out. Like, it's just not like if her and I'm sure her and I will at some point we'll get mad at each other, and I'm sure one of us will say something that's over the line or whatever. Like, I'm sure it'll happen, and then we'll go get breakfast after the fight and we'll be fine because that's how it's supposed to be. We put it in the ring and then you walk away. And I'm sure that'll happen as we get closer because I think as she gets more nervous because she realizes what's going to happen, I think she's going to try and compensate and she's going to start saying things and I bite back. So we'll see. That's my prediction. I think she's going to start compensating for being so nervous. Um, and she should be nervous. Look, I'm sure she's improved. Again, like I have all the respect for her. She's a sweet girl. But she's in my way. You know what I mean? Like there's a belt. She's standing in between me and the belt, and she needs to fucking move. So I'm gonna make her move. That's it.
Oh,
And then we'll be fine.
I want to mic drop the interview so much when I talk to you. I love it. I love it. Can I ask you about a few other things she's got going on? Look,
Yeah,
if I All right, I try to put myself in your shoes. I'm watching my upcoming opponent, and she's hanging out with Elle, Brooke, and they are doing videos. She's doing all this with the belt and all that. And I will
she's
say this,
working on that cardio.
I'm also
Sorry,
totally, I totally
sorry.
know what you
Continue.
mean. No, uh, I like to stay monetized. No, anyway, but one of the things that I want to say this. I'm aware that obviously she's promoting, but she's not putting it out there. If I'm sure she's in the gym hitting pads, she's just not recording that, choosing to put that out there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I am curious if I'm her upcoming opponent, what do you think of all this? Because I would be tempted to say, Alexia, are you even training for it? Because right now it sounds like you're training for something else.
I
I know this is a totally different
have
interview now.
had I have had that thought. Now, granted, I don't post every time I'm in the gym either, right? Like I'm literally coming from 3 hours of training and you're not going to see any of it. Like I just sparred, which, oh, she got the girl I sparred. She's so good. And she got a perfect solar plexus hit.
Ooh.
Oh, perfect. And I was just like, well, damn, I got to do this to Alexia. Like my immediate thought, I ended up like, I don't know, maybe, and I think this is kind of a tangent, but for me, I really do think maybe I'm a little bit of a masochist because like when I get hit, I'm just like, mm, good one, thank you. Like it's just like it's this immediate, just like, ooh, I'm gonna need to use that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's so good, and I hope. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, like there's a lot of training on how to land and like I have power, especially for my size. Like her and I are in a lighter division where like I know she's not getting hit and I know her coaches are telling her, "Oh, 112, it's not going to be that hard." No, no, no. It's going to be hard and I'm going to hurt her. And she'll live. She'll be fine.
Ah.
Whatever. But I'm going to hurt her because I want my belt. And she's not ready for the power I have and she's not ready for the like I'm just gonna keep coming even if she does throw her little jabber jabs at me. That's all she's got, and I'm so excited for this fight. But in terms of whether or not she's training, I'm sure she's training. Every once in a while she'll be like, oh, I sparred, and I'm like, that's cool, like good for you. And like her gym, I checked it out because I'm nosy. Um, but I checked it out and it seems like a solid gym. It doesn't seem like what I like to call influencer gyms. No hate.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, like it seems like an actual gym, which is awesome. And it makes me excited that she'll hopefully be a good fight. but there's a very real chance that she's not going to be. So I'm like, either she's been training and she's hiding it, and it's going to be an entertaining fight, and it's going to go the distance, and it's going to be solid. I'm going to still win. I'm still going to knock her the fuck out, but
Yeah.
it'll go the like, you know what I mean? Like it'll still take some time. Or she thinks I'm going to be like Astrid. She's training half-heartedly, and I'm going to knock her out the first round. So we'll see. Within the first 10 seconds of the fight, we'll know if she's been training. And I'm just excited.
I could feel that. I could feel that. One final question on the whole, a lot of the promotion influencer side. I'm gonna be very blunt. You've seen a bunch of
Yeah.
Misfits. I've seen a bunch. A lot of fans have seen a lot. Compared to the men, the women, there is a bit of a sex appeal, particularly in the weigh-ins. I don't know that there's been a girl who weighed in that wasn't wearing lingerie and things like that. If I'm being
Yeah.
blunt, Nikki, I know you're a very confident, beautiful young lady, but
Thank
that's
you.
not exactly your branding and your vibe.
No, it's not.
So for people who are maybe wondering, wait, is she gonna play the game, so to speak? What is your response to all that? Because quite bluntly, there is a pattern with the Misfits women.
Yeah. I love that women are feeling confident enough to make their own choices. And I hope that everyone who's choosing to do whatever it is they're choosing to do is doing it of their own volition, and they're exercising their own autonomy, and that they feel empowered and beautiful and sexy. I will not be wearing lingerie at the weigh-in. You like, I just won't be. It's that for me, like, and I don't get me wrong, like I've done, especially as an actress and as a model, but that's different because that's me representing a product. That's not me representing me. If I'm going to be wearing lingerie as Nikki Hru, that's going to be for my partner. That's just me. You know what I mean? Like that's all the respect, all the love, but no, I will not be playing that particular game. I'm gonna still look hot. That's like that's
Of
my
course,
plan.
right? Of course. I would too. Let's be real. I'd like
Yeah,
to ask you about some of the other fun things going on around the game.
yeah.
Ryan Garcia trying to get his girl into Misfits. I mean,
I
do you
I
want to
have
see a dead body?
listen. I got tagged and I got sent that post so many times. So many times by people I know and people I don't. I want to know her weight and I want to know her height. I will gladly take her in the ring. Like now, granted, I think her coach needs, assuming Ryan is her coach. I don't really know what's going. He might need to get his head on straight, but happily take her in the ring. Let her come into Misfits. I'm already This is so funny. Like this is my debut fight, and I'm already like I'm planning my second. I'm planning my third. I can't wait to just knock
Planning the
these
whole
girls
murder's row.
out.
I
Yeah,
am
I just need her
curious.
weight.
Uh,
Yeah,
I am curious. So AJ Bunker threw it out there, wanting that fight. I think a lot of people, the woman of the moment right now in influencer boxing is Elle Brooke. I mean, I'd like just to ask you about potentially fighting those two women, not any particular order, but just down the line.
yeah. They would have to come down to my weight because right now, and I've said this before, I would need a nutritionist and I would need to talk to my coach about how to healthily go up because I haven't been 125 since
The
since I was
circus
like
days.
power, well, kind of, honestly, since I was like powerlifting.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, like I wouldn't even know. I like in my adult life, I have never been 125 or higher. Like it's just not. a thing. Which is not like, and I'm not saying that like I'm so small. Like it's not like that. I would just legitimately need professional assistance in going up to that weight class because I don't know how to do it healthily. I only would be like, give me all the rum cake. You know what I mean? But if they want to come down to 112 all day, every day, like I'm here for them at 112.
Fair enough, fair enough. Some other stuff in the influencer scene. Let me ask you, Jake Paul taking on Mike Tyson. I mean, this one out of left field. I mean, what did you think when you heard that one? Say no more.
Yeah. I At the end of the day, Mike Tyson is an adult who knows the dangers of the sport better than any of us, really. And if he wants to do this, then who am I to say that he doesn't have a grasp on his abilities and that, like, who am I to question his autonomy? You know what I mean? Like, he knows his body, he knows himself as an athlete. Now, I think that there's a certain level of integrity that Paul's going to need during the fight because you have to be mindful of who you're fighting. You have to, right? And that goes for any type of fight. That goes for mixed martial arts. That goes for street fights. Like, it doesn't matter for any type of fight. We're not, at the end of the day, like, I'm trying to hurt my opponent, but I'm not trying to kill her. So there is a certain level of integrity he's going to need. And I'm not saying that I want this fight, but I am saying that I don't think I have any right to question two grown adults' autonomy when they're only hurting each other. You know what I mean?
Obviously, you are known for quite a few things. Harley Quinn inspired gear, which I heard made it onto your unofficial Funko Pop. Music, you've done quite a few different things. I mean, what are we thinking for this fight? What can you let me know? Give me some breaking news.
So my fight kit will be inspired by my cosplay nerdy self.
Love it.
I'm gonna drop hints during the presser and during the weigh-ins and everything. So we'll see like if everyone can guess who. I will say that this one's a little bit easy. They will get harder as the fights go and I become a little more like into my nerdiness. You know what I mean? But so that's that. And with music, I actually one of my favorite artists and I connected, which like I'm not a fangirl kind of person, which I'm sure you could guess by everything about me. But I'm not very like fangirly, but I love this artist. Her name is Timar. So Teamarr. She has phenomenal music. She's a fantastic writer. Her voice is cool. She's doing unique things with the scene as a whole. Like in terms of music, so sick. Her and I connected, so I'm going to be using one of her songs for my walkout. Um, Maybe one day she could live walk me out, which would be so sick. But I don't think we can make that work this close. Um, I was so excited. She retweeted me and then followed me, and I was just like, I was
That's what's
shook.
up.
Oh my gosh. And she seems from the conversations we've had, like just a genuine person who just happens to be incredibly talented. So I'm super excited to walk out to her and I'm super excited to, I don't know, I guess expose more people to her because I think her music's amazing. I'm grateful that so far my last two walkout or like this upcoming walkout and the one my last one, I was able to get direct permission from the artists themselves. And I really prefer that, I think. Um, because like I think a lot of times with art it becomes this like public domain and then no one knows what's happening with their own creation. Ugh, the hair. So I like connecting. But yeah, so that's it for my kit and my walkout.
And then a final question for our interview. A lot of people, this is going to be the first time getting introduced to you, and we've had this
Yeah.
talk. You are a different kind of influencer. You got a lot going on. You really do believe in inspiring people. You really do believe in just representing, you know, not just for yourself, not just for the ladies, but for the other people out there who feel like, you know, they don't know if they can do it and, you know, they may be nervous to try it out. What do you want people to know about Nikki Hru before they see her for the first time boxing in Misfits?
I have simultaneously had an incredibly privileged life while also having an incredibly difficult life. And I like to recognize both sides of that because there are a lot of privileges and there are people who have gone through things that I'll never understand. But the adversity I faced in just throughout my life is substantial. And one of the biggest things that I really want to impress upon people, and this is everyone, like yes, I tend to focus on women and a lot of things, but this is everyone. Regardless of the adversity, to a degree, but regardless of the adversity and regardless of how the adversity came to be, your ability to push through and your ability to keep taking that next step and just going, like, just do the next right thing and just trying your best and not giving up. Like, you can rest, but not giving up. Every success in my life is because of that mentality and because of this unwavering faith that no matter what happens to me or around me, I will be able to navigate and overcome. And I just want everyone to have that same faith in themselves because no one else can really have it for you. You know what I mean? Like, we need support systems, we need all of these things, and that's great. But if I can start inspiring people to really tap into the part of themselves that is just unwavering faith in their ability, that's all I really want. That's not to be super
No, hey,
soapboxy.
no. I didn't want to cut you off. I didn't want to cut you off. I think that's beautiful. I think that really encompasses who you are in this space and what you're trying to do and what you're trying to do in it, you know? So definitely, I love that. Nikki, we've connected. I think that probably neither of us thought that we'd be in this spot some few months later, talking about
Yeah.
everything. I'm so happy for you, my friend. And I just want you to know, I wish you the best of luck. I know you got
Thank you.
this. And yeah, ladies and do you have any final words before I sign us out?
For everyone watching this, comment what round do you think I'm gonna knock her out in.
Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, Nikki Hru taking on Alexia Grace for the vacant Misfits title on March 23rd, Tennessee. You guys are not going to want to miss it.